Present po.
Thanks. Okay na, Arlie.
Okay, wait lang natin yung speaker.
Present po.
Again, instructions, please rename yourselves and please remove yung inyong mga surnames for privacy concerns. And please don't use any unprofessional name like Shanti, Dope, or whatever. Please lang ha. Thank you.
Phobia.
Remind ko lang, we are live on YouTube. So anything you do here appears on the web and is documented. All right. Agot, welcome. Good afternoon.
Hello? Hello?
Okay. All right. Agot, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sir Josh.
Okay. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Arlie is, I think, our head. Tama ba, Arlie?
Yes
For
po.
this day's session. You may proceed, Arlie.
So good afternoon, everyone. For our fifth webinar, How to Prepare for Interviews, our speaker is a human resource practitioner in shared services, business partnering, and talent acquisition, specializing on academe linkages and project management, who worked in a multinational semiconductor company for 5 years and is now working as a campus relations lead in a global IT-BPO consulting of a Fortune Top 500 company. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology at Lyceum of the Philippines University, Manila in 2014. She earned her second diploma in business administration at Salle University, Dasmarinas in 2019 and is now finishing her thesis for her master's degree at the Graduate School of Business in the same university. Currently a recruiting specialist at Accenture. Let us all warmly welcome Miss Agustina Reyes.
Hi, good afternoon. So let me just share my screen. So this is actually my first webinar. So if in case medyo mahina yung voice or if you have any Any concern? Just let me know through the chat box. Okay. All right. So can you see my screen already?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. So let's start with this one. Okay. So imagine yourself, siguro for example, 5 or 10 years from now. For example, on my case, I wake up at 6 a.m. No, it's just another normal working day. So once the alarm goes off, I wake up, I get up, and then prepare my breakfast. I get ready for the day. I ride the train or the bus going to my work. Then once you're there, you stay there for around 8, 9, or 10 hours a day. You'll be doing the same type of job that you applied for when you graduated, and you've been doing it for again 5 or 10 years. After that, so you'll end your day. You'll ride on your train again, or you'll drive going home. And when you're lying on bed, you sometimes ask yourself, even if for me, for example, I ask myself if I'm on the right career path, or is this the type of job that I was hoping for when I graduated? Ito ba yung type of job na I was hoping to be in when I graduated? Ito ba yung pinaghirapan ko ng 4 or 5 years when I was in college? Okay? So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to discuss about the how-tos for landing your dream job. Okay? So again, my name is Agot. I'm from Accenture Philippines, and I was also part of Maxim Integrated before for 5 years. And I just transferred to Accenture early this year. All right. So um, my presentation is divided into 6 areas. First, we'll talk about the general things that you have to know in writing a resume, or what are the types or parts of a resume. The next one is, paano ko ba i-minimize to? Ayan, there. Second is tips on resume writing. Third, so siguro I'll give you a brief interview coaching from one of my trainings from before. And we'll try to use that coaching style with a sample interview question. Fifth, I'll give you the trends and opportunities for ECE graduates and where to find most of the jobs now. And at the last part of this presentation, so we'll have our Q&A. Okay, so first, resume 101. So this is an example of a resume, as you can see. No, I actually just got this on Google yesterday. So for the parts of course, initially you have to put your name at the top, somewhere where it can be easily seen. So if, for example, you'd prefer for you to be called by your nickname, you can also put it in there. But make sure that you have your full name indicated there at the top of your resume. Next are your contact details. Okay? So, syempre, una sa lahat, you have to put your mobile number or phone number. If in case, for example, you have multiple contact numbers, so just please put whatever siguro kung ano yung pinaka-active or kung ano yung pinaka-madalas mong gamitin number. If in case sometimes you have intermittent connections and you really have to use two mobile numbers, just put it in there. And then after the mobile number, so you'll put in there your email address. And I hope at this point you already have your professional email address. And I would encourage and I would suggest for you guys to make it brief, or siguro to create an email address that is specific for job seeking alone. Para you will not have to rummage through your emails. Di ba? Sobrang daming emails kasi. So sometimes you miss some of the opportunities because you have a lot of emails incoming. So just dedicate one email specifically for job seeking opportunities. Then for the address, so you do not have to put your full address. Okay, just input the city and the state, for example, or the province. If in case you have multiple addresses, you can put two addresses there, because sometimes employers also look into your onto how close you are to the type or to the company. Okay, kasi minsan tingnan ng proximity ng candidate to the work location, because that's also a factor for employee retention in the future. Lastly, as you can see there, we have, for example, LinkedIn profile. So if you have professional work, professional profiles, you can also put the links into your resume, but make sure it's also updated, because sometimes it might be visited by your interviewer or by your recruiter. Third, there, ayan. Third is education. So you don't have to put your high school and elementary school on your resumes. The most important is just to put your college educational background. Or for example, if you have a postgraduate experience or degree, then also put it in there. Unless you really have a lot of space left on your resume. So pag ganun, pwede kang maglagay ng any degrees that you think is really significant for the type of job that you're applying into. Fourth is your professional profile, or this is the summary of yourself. Alright? But make sure this is not copied and pasted from Google kasi sometimes it's really evident or sobrang halatang kinopy and paste lang siya. So make sure it's really significant for you and that you were the one who really wrote your professional profile. And highlight some of the skills din siguro or some of the background about you that you think will be beneficial or that will help you get accepted on that type of job. Okay? Next, wait lang. There, ayan. So next is experience. So you can input your previous work experiences, or if you don't have like internship experiences, will do. If you have part-time experiences, you can also put it in there. But again, if you think this is not very significant with the type of job, for example, hindi siya related with the type of study that you're into, or the type of field that you're going to apply into, you can just remove your previous part-time experiences. Again, unless you still have a space left on your resume where you can input some of the not really relevant data about yourself. Kasi hindi na maganda na sobrang maluwag yung resume natin. We should have to maximize the space that we have in completing our resume. And then lastly, so we have this one. So this is a usual question for the candidates and for my friends. No? They ask me if it is really necessary for them to input a photo or include a photo of them on their resume. So my answer is that if in case the type of job really requires your physical appearance, like for example, sales and marketing, or for example, they're applying as an FA or other positions like that, you really have to include your photo. But for some positions, like for example, for you guys, for engineering, it's not really necessary. But if you want, again, pwede mo pa rin siyang ilagay. But make sure that the photo is a high resolution photo and professionally yung look niyo dun sa photo na yun. Okay? And then for other parts of the CV or the resume, you can input awards and achievements. So please focus on academic achievements. If you think there are some awards and achievements you received before that you don't think is really significant for you to put into the resume, just exclude it. Okay, kasi it will not help you para ma-use mo lang or ma-utilize mo lang yung space sa resume. If you can put other things, just skip it. Skip this one. Next are professional affiliations. So, like for example, you're part of ISF, put it in there. If you're part of an organization, or if you served as a committee for an event, you can put it in there. But please don't put some of the affiliations or organizations na you think hindi naman talaga significant for you. Kasi for example, when I was in college, there are some organizations that I was just a part of or I was a member of because it was required by our professor, 'di ba? So kapag mga ganon, pwede mo siyang exclude kasi it wouldn't really help you get hired on the job because it wouldn't really siguro parang wala naman siya natulong sa'yo during your college days at wala ka rin namang ginawa sa organization na yun, di ba? Next, or third, are character references. So actually, this is not required. Or you can just put it at the bottom of your resume saying na character reference is available upon request. So the reason is that, again, it's just a space on your resume. It's not really significant because not all employers conduct background interviews or character references. And to be honest, for fresh graduates, we don't really do background checks. We only do it for those na medyo mas matagal na or may work experiences na. Kasi it also costs a lot on the employer to conduct a background check. Unless you're a fresh graduate, but you're applying for a job that will require highly confidential information. Like if, for example, you're applying on finance, sometimes in HR, global security, research and development. So sometimes the company will spend for background check because they need to know if you're really saying the truth on your resume. Okay, but again, it's not very necessary. If in case you put in there the character references are available upon request, just make sure that you have that additional document once you attend a job interview. For certifications, so ano ba yung samples ito, or licenses? For example, you pass the board exam for ECE, or for example, a Six Sigma Belter, or if you took any licensure exams or certifications before, that again you think is very significant for a type of job that you're applying into, pwede mo siyang ilagay dito. Fifth is objective. I don't see it as a very significant part of a resume. I don't think it is really significant. Kasi objectives naman usually, we just find it online, di ba? But, again, if you're going to put an objective, make sure that it is in line with the type of job that you're applying to. So being a recruiter for around 3 years, I think, there are some of the candidates wherein they put an objective, apply in an electronics company, but the objective is more in line with a telco company. So again, it will not really help you get hired on the job. Baka maging reason pa siya for you to be excluded on the pool of candidates that we're hiring into. Lastly, skills. Ayan. So for some, like yung mga modern resume, I can see it na they're putting their skills on a graphical format, which will also help you if, for example, medyo maluwag pa yung resume mo and you do not want to add details that are not really necessary. You can maximize the space by adding a skill or adding a graphical format on the skills. But again, if you're applying for multiple positions or multiple companies, try to tailor fit your skills to the type of job that you're applying into. Okay? Kapag naman nag-apply tayo, we see di ba, the job role or the job position. We can also see the job description. And on the job description, you'll see there whatever skills or qualifications that they need for the job. So if you see it there and you see that it's matched to you, you can just use that keyword and put it on your resume para at least mas mapansin siya or manotice siya ng recruiter or ng interviewer ninyo. For a while, there, ayan. Resume writing tips. So these are just some of the few reminders in creating a resume. So first off, keep it short, all right? And please be reminded that there's a difference between a CV and a resume. CV or curriculum vitae is a longer description of who you are. A resume is siguro mga 1 to 2 page document used for applying a job. So if you've been an experienced candidate already, you can use the term CV, but if not, I would prefer for you to use the term resume. So for fresh graduates, I would encourage for you to just create or write a 1 page resume. If you're having a hard time or a difficult time compressing all your details into 1 page, I can do a 2 page resume, but I think a 1 page resume will do. Okay? Second, ayan, use clean fonts. What do I mean by this? Kasi sometimes there are resumes na medyo mahirap basahin or mahirap tignan yung profile because of the font most of the time. So if I were you, just use sans serif fonts. What I mean by it is that use fonts na walang tails. That's called serif actually. So yung sans serif fonts, sample nito are Calibri, Arial, Graphic, or those types of fonts. Yung serif fonts or those na medyo artistic yung fonts, like for example, Times New Roman, Georgia, or those fonts na mayroong tail sa dulo. Okay? Kasi mas madaling basahin yung mga sans serif fonts. It's also a factor for screening a candidate. If maganda tingnan yung resume niya, mas babasahin kasi siya ng recruiter or ng interviewer. Third, do not use multiple or contrasting colors on your resume. So I would suggest for you to just use a two-tone template for your resume or a three-tone. But if three-tone siya, so again, the first one, of course, is black. The last two colors must be of the same shade para hindi siya mahirap tignan. And mas professional looking than your resume if you're going to use limited colors on your resume. Fourth, be cautious on what you include. So just make sure that whatever you write into your resume can be justifiable by you. Kasi sometimes, for example, there are candidates who are putting a lot of details on their resume, but during the interview, they will not be able to justify it. An example of this is, for example, a thesis or a publication. Mag-write ng, of course, talagay niyo yung title, ganyan. But once you're asked by the interviewer about the thesis, like how you came up with it, or what were the tasks that you had to do to complete the thesis, your struggles, walang ma-answer. So make sure that whatever you write to your resume ay meron kang enough and valuable knowledge for you to answer in case you're asked by the interviewer. Fifth, tailor fit your resume for each position. I mentioned it earlier already. So if in case you're applying for multiple jobs, try to tailor fit your resume to the type of job that you're applying into. Like for example, yung sa objective, or for example, sa skills, or for siguro in the future for the job experiences, you have to make sure that it's really in line with the type of job that you're applying into. Because sometimes a lot of skills will not really help you get a job kasi the recruiter or the interviewer will not have enough time to read it one by one because they only want to focus on those types of skills that is really needed for the job. So it could be a struggle if, for example, you're applying for multiple positions at a time. So at this point, I would suggest for you guys to just apply for those positions that you think will really be of interest to you. Kasi sayang din yung time niyo and time din ng mag-screen ng resume at ng profile niyo. If in case in the end you will not really like or you're not really interested in the type of job that they're offering you. And lastly, I think it's common sense naman, do not lie on your resume. However, some of the people are still doing this. So, just please don't do it kasi if the interviewer is really good, maka-corner ka rin nila at the end of the interview. So, don't do it. Alright? So, third is an interview quotient. This is actually just a very brief technique. Actually, I learned about this siguro mga around 2 years ago at one of our external trainings for a certification in behavioral interviewing. And this is a universally acclaimed and approved na behavioral interviewing technique for HR and for recruiters. So for this one, it is said na past experiences will help predict future behavior of a candidate. And with that, we have to focus into asking the candidates for previous experiences. Okay. And whenever we ask candidates for past experiences, the encouraged or we're hoping for an answer is using the STAR technique. Okay. So what do I mean by this? So S stands for situation. So it answers the question what happened or what was the scenario. Okay. And then the second one is task. So based on the situation, what do you have to do? Ano ba yung kailangan mong gawin? What was expected of you? Okay? Action yung A, which answers the question, what did you do? And then lastly, of course, what was the result or the outcome of your action? Okay? So please memorize this, guys. So again, STAR means situation, task, action, result. So again, if in case you're asked by your interviewer or by your recruiter about a past experience, this is the most preferred model of answering the question. Okay. This will not only help you have a more sequential method of answering, kasi di ba sometimes if you're nervous or pag medyo naguguluhan ka din sa question or cannot really focus, nagka-cloud yung mind natin. So, the tendency is that medyo nagpapaikot-ikot yung answer natin. So, if we're going to use this method, so meron kang sinusunod na process in answering the question. So again, it has to start with the situation. What was the task? what were the actions taken, and then what was the outcome of your action. Okay? So us naman on our end, the usual question starts with this. As you can see there, ayan. Tell me about a time when, give me an example of, have you ever, or describe an instance where you've had to. So these questions will require the candidate to answer using this format. Okay. So let's try to apply the STAR technique in a sample behavioral question. Okay? So can you describe a stressful situation and how you handled it? Okay? So I'll give you siguro a minute to read the answer, and siguro by yourself try to identify what was the S, the T, the A, and the R.
Ayos yung example, power supply, ah.
Oo,
Nice.
actually sir, kinuha ko to sa friend kong engineer. Nagpa-help pa talaga ako.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you're done. So if you follow the previous technique, so again you have to start with S or situation. So again, para lang mas clear sa atin, we have to answer the question, what was the scenario? Okay, or what was the situation? So on this one, the situation is that at one of his or the candidate's previous subjects in college, they were asked to present a working power supply. However, nag-short yung resistor and it blew up 2 days before the presentation day. And unfortunately, there was no available replacement dun sa resistor, and yung online order nila took longer than expected as well. Okay, so the second one is the task. So what was expected of the candidate, or what did he had to do? So as the leader of the team, he had to make sure that everything is in place and are running smoothly before the deadline. So, and with that, what was the action taken? So, he decided to be creative and redesign a combination of components to achieve the same output. Alright? And with that, since nagawa niya ng paraan, the result was they were able to present on time and they received good feedback from their instructor. Okay, so madali lang naman siya, guys. Just remember this kasi it will also help you be mindful of the way you answer questions. Okay? If, for example, naman, the question was not based on past experiences. For example, situational questions like, what if you were given multiple tasks at a time? So how will you do it? Like ganyan. You can still use the STAR model. Pwede ka pa rin mag-start sa situation. So start with like, if in case in the future I was given like 2 projects at a time, of course I'd be expected to deliver it on the time that, or the time frame that I committed to deliver it into. And then so the action is, for example, so very brief lang. For example, so if in case I know that I will not be able to finish my projects on time, 2 projects at a time, no, I will have to ask my manager or my superior for a recommit date just to make sure that I will be able to deliver it with the same quality that they're expecting me to deliver it. Okay? And then, of course, yung result, yung last or the outcome is that you lived up with the expectation of your superior because you were able to deliver yung project that was expected of you. Okay? So just again, keep in mind yung STAR model, again, situation, task, action, and result. Okay. Next. Ayan. So just some of the few reminders whenever you do job interviews. So first, make a striking introduction. So of course naman when you search about job interviews kasi before you go for an actual interview, this is always mentioned kasi the first siguro 2 to 5 minutes of the interview is really critical because you also have to sustain the interest of the recruiter or the interviewer in you. And if I'm going to be honest, of course, with the current health situation, no, it might be more difficult for candidates or for fresh graduates to find a job because unemployment rate is high and the economy is low. And most of the companies already held their hiring already. And for some, they're resorting to virtual assessments. So with that, if for example, most of the interviews will be done through phone call or through, for example, Skype or Zoom, you have to make sure that you'll be able to make a striking introduction para at least catch may interest sa interviewer mo and that you'll be able to have a good first impression. Alright? Practice interview questions. This is very, very significant, guys. So, um, since right now, again, hindi ganun karami yung companies na looking for candidates. But the good thing is that for engineers, they're still in demand as of the moment. So try to use the time to practice interview questions. There are a lot of interview questions online. And when you do it, I would encourage for you to practice in front of a mirror or try to record yourself answering interview questions. And if you're doing it, siguro mas mabuti na you do it impromptu. Like you record yourself, you open the questions and try to answer it impromptu para at least you know what type of questions are you having difficulty answering ng agad-agad or what are the improvements you can do to improve your answering of question skills. All right. Next, bayan mali pa. So highlight strengths. Okay. So in doing an interview, don't have to be humble kasi you have to sell yourself. And of course, basic marketing, if you're selling something, you always have to focus or highlight the good features of your product or of yourself. Okay? So whenever you do interviews, try to focus on those skills that you have or that you're good at. Try to cover up yung mga weaknesses. But if in case it is asked, please answer it truthfully. But whenever you answer questions about your weaknesses, just make sure that you have like a solution to that weakness. Okay. So I remember when I was applying for my previous job, I was asked for my weakness and I told them my weakness is my communication skills. But so I mentioned to them that during the time na meron akong vacant time after graduation, I tried to search for English courses or public speaking courses that will help me be more comfortable in speaking in public, especially because I'm an HR. Next, always try to relax and slow down. So sometimes when we do interviews, we tend to be nervous. And yung outcome nun sometimes is that we speak so fast. Tapos yung nag-cloud yung mind natin on different ideas and thoughts to answer the question. So nawawalan ng format or ng sequence yung answer natin. So try to relax and slow down kasi sometimes you also tend to speak a lot when you're nervous. And for especially now na if you're doing phone interviews or virtual interviews, most of the time it's just time, siguro mga 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And you have to maximize the time. So again, sell yourself and tell the best things about yourself. Fifth and lastly, do your research. So again, if you're going to apply for a job, make sure that you have the idea or a background on the company and the type of position you're applying into. Kasi it can also be asked during the initial assessment. And not all recruiters message first or send you a message first before they call. Sometimes natawag na lang sila and if you're not prepared, you'll be caught off guard. Okay? So kailangan talaga alam mo yung applyan mo, saan ka nag-apply. If you can make a list of it para at least hindi ka maguguluhan, just do it. Okay? And then fifth are the trends and opportunities that are available for fresh graduates. I'll start with this one. So the top recruiting channels. So again, I've been applied to two companies pa lang naman before. But looking into the top sourcing channels or the platforms where we get the most candidates, parang same lang siya from my previous and my current company. So this means that you have to focus into these channels para at least you'll know where to find most of the jobs now. Kasi sometimes baka outdated na yung idea natin and we are not able to find the best jobs because we don't know where to look. Okay? So first, ba't ba ayaw na? There, ayan. Okay. So first, our employee referrals. I'm not sure if most of you are familiar with this one. So if you have friends, for example, may mga kabatch kayo na una ma-hire, or if you know someone from the previous batch who's already hired at the company that you really want to apply on, use that network to ask their help to submit your resume to the HR. And I'm 100% sure that these people will help you submit your resume to the HR. The reason is that because most of the companies, and I think all of the companies, are also leveraging into using employee referrals as a source of hiring. And with that, for example, you get hired at a company, and then you know someone who wants to apply, and they are qualified for that position. Yung employee na nag-refer sa kanila will get an incentive or a bonus. That's also the reason why you see a lot of posts on your social media asking if you'd be interested for a job because they also receive an incentive and bonus out of it. Sometimes they even do tutorials or provide tips to their referred candidates for them to pass the assessment. So this is the top sourcing channel as of the moment for majority of the companies. Okay. Next are social media channels. I would like to highlight the use of Facebook. So if I hope you're familiar that Facebook already has a tab for jobs. So you can already see some of the job listings and postings in there. And then apart from that, there are also a lot of Facebook groups or forums wherein most of the users will post employee referrals or job postings for them to be used for employee referrals. Ayan. So for ECE, actually, one of my top channels before or top sourcing channels before is the use of ECE Bayanihan Forum. And I hope you're all part of that already. 2 years ago, they also created a separate account specific for job postings. So yung title ng group is Jobs by EDF or again ECE Bayanihan Forum. So dun sa group na yon, you see a lot of posts there, both from HRs and from fellow engineers as well. So leverage on that kasi mas marami na kami nakuha ngayon sa Facebook postings compared to other channels. Third, campus programs. So those companies who are aggressive in hiring will resort to going to campuses para mas maunahan nila yung other companies in getting candidates, especially on the previous years, since merong K to 12, so merong konting limit or may decrease in the number of graduates. Kaya most of the companies are really aggressive on targeting and hiring candidates. That's the reason why some of the employers will go to the school already, even before you graduate, to do recruitment activities para at least pag-graduate ninyo, meron na kayong job. And if you're lucky, for some of the employers out there, they'll give you siguro if you prefer it like mga 2 or 3 months na rest before you start with the job. Pero may contract ka na nung time na yun para at least guaranteed that you have the job once you're ready or once you're available. So make use of that as well kasi sayang yung opportunity. Sobrang laking help na yung company nagpupunta sa school at hindi na kayo pupunta dun sa companies isa-isa para mag-apply. It will save you time. It will also save you money. Lastly, job boards. I put it fourth kasi actually at this point, it's not the top one na. Kasi before, parang during previous years, parang number one talaga is job street, di ba? Actually, we're still using it now. However, some companies will opt to use other channels because it's cheaper compared to the use of job street. Medyo mahal kasi for job street yung postings. But still, make sure that you have your profile updated. Job Street, Jobs 180 or Jobs 1BB. Also use LinkedIn. So, ang advantage naman for those platforms is that if, for example, the recruiter is looking for a specific qualification, even if you don't apply, we have a capability to search for a profile that is applicable to what we're looking for. So, even if hindi ka nag-apply sa amin, but we saw your resume or we saw your profile, we can buy that profile. Like, kapag nabili na namin yan, we'll have a copy of your resume or your profile. We call you for the specific position that kailangan namin i-fill in. Okay? So, again, number one pa din talaga is employee referrals. make use of your network. If you spend a lot of time on Facebook, this will be helpful to you. Follow ECE Bayanihan Forum or Jobs by EDF. There's a lot of posts in there, telco, programming, semicon, electronics. So, andun lahat naman yun. And you can also find some people who will really be helpful for you in finding a job because they give tips to help their fellow engineers. Campus programs, although right now, since we have this current situation, canceled most of the campus initiatives for most companies. Then lastly, again, the use of job boards, JobStreet, Jobs 180, Jobs 1DB, and LinkedIn. And again, don't forget to update your profile every now and then. Okay. And then, ayan, ba't ba ayaw? Ayan. So, career opportunities at Accenture. So, medyo commercial lang ako ng konti dito. So, currently, we have this program, Innovation Leaders Program. It's a management training program. And when we say management training program, this is a fast track career program. So 3 years lang, you'll undergo exclusive and extensive training. After 3 years, you will land on an associate manager position already. Okay? So if you want to learn more about this program, just visit this site. If you want to know other programs by Accenture, please visit accenture.com/phstudents. You also have the list of open opportunities there. And if you're interested for other areas naman, like again, I came from a semiconductor company. I came from Maxim. So maximintegrated.com/careers. There are also career opportunities on the telco, ICT for programming. That's also in line with Accenture. So actually, this is my last slide. So just in time, no, 30 minutes. So always dream big, set personal professional goals, and of course, take action to achieve those goals. Ayan, okay? So, thank you so much. I hope you learned something, Sir Josh.
Yes, thank you, Agot. That was a very, very nice presentation. Palakpakan naman natin si Agot.
Okay. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Ang dami. Alam mo, wala kaming noon. Wala kaming ganyan noon. So, this young students here who are about to graduate are really fortunate because they were able to at least hear some tips from you. Now it's time for us to open the floor for some questions. Now is the opportune time to raise that to Miss Agot. She's working in Accenture and right now as a recruiter. So if you have a question, please do raise your hand and or please open your mics, unmute your mics to ask those questions now. Kent has a question. Kent, please proceed.
Hello, Miss Albert. I have a question.
Okay.
Hello? Narinig ako.
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Miss Agot, I have a question. I've been in the BPO industry for 1 year and 3 months already. And I noticed during the final interview, it is needed by the company to have your commitment. Is it really necessary for the final interview to have that statement or to let the company know that you have their commitment? Just asking the question because I've noticed a lot of times already during my final interview na needed yung commitment every final interview. Is it really necessary for them to ask that or ganyan talaga yung flow ng HR sa company?
Okay. So actually, I think commitment, it actually, even if secret lang, secret lang, even if you already signed the contract, you still have the option to withdraw your application. Again, even if you sign the contract. Kasi yung contract naman, employment contracts are at will. So at any point in time, you can still withdraw whatever you signed. For the commitment naman, I think that's just a way of the interviewer to check if you're really interested and if sure ka bang magpo-proceed. Kasi if you mention that you're already sure of your application, that can also stop them from interviewing candidates already kasi they already have someone who's fit in the role. There. So I hope it
Oh, okay.
answers your question. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more? Jean, I think, again, has a question.
Yes po. I have a question po. Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Regarding po dun sa interviewer techniques, what do you mean by a striking introduction po? Like, how do you make your introduction striking?
Okay. Kasi for most of the candidates, sometimes at the start of the interview pa lang medyo kinakabahan na. So it will help you
Okay.
really to rehearse your introduction and just don't
Mhm.
just focus on those areas or details about yourself that is already on your resume because the interviewer can see it. So try to include something that is not included on your resume but you think is very interesting for you, or for example a hobby or an interest that will siguro show how responsible you are in your passion, because of course
Mhm.
the recruiter or the interviewer will expect that you're passionate about the type of job that you're applying into there. So really talaga
Okay.
rehearse lang talaga and try to be really confident in doing job interviews.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Krisa raised her hand. Please go, Krisa.
Ay, hello po. Narinig po ba ako?
Yep. Mhm.
Ay, tanong ko lang po kasi last OJT po, nag-try ako mag-apply po sa Accenture. Tanong ko lang po if ever, sabi niyo po kasi sa online na kayo nagkukuha ngayon ng mga candidates.
Mhm.
Kasi may nagsabi din sa akin before na mas na-prioritize daw ata yung pag nag-apply ka in person sa Accenture kaysa sa online. Yun lang po. Kung alin
Mhm.
po yung mas natatanggap.
So actually, as of the moment, again, we resorted to 100% virtual assessment already. But on usual processing days siguro, if for example, walang health situation, siguro ang impact lang if mag-walk-in ka instead of magsasubmit ka ng resume online is that pag walk-in, diretso ka na ng processing agad. However, kapag kasi nag-submit ka ng resume online, specifically like for Accenture wherein we have 60,000 employees, medyo madami. So marami rin kaming pinaprocess na applications. Meron pa siyang cycle time or meron pa siyang lead time for us to get back to the candidate. Like siguro mga 3 days or a week before we'd be able to catch your application and process it for employment. Ayun. It's still better to, for example, may mga companies may recruitment center like Accenture. Not every company has a recruitment center, but if they have, yes, mas maigi mag-walk-in na lang po kayo.
Thank you po.
Thanks, Krisa.
Next question. Arlie?
Yes po, good afternoon po.
Good
Naririnig po ba ako?
afternoon. Mhm.
Ma'am, ask ko lang po kasi po may mga companies na online na po pinapasend yung CV and resume. Ask ko lang po if halimbawa po online nila pinasend, kailan po na at saka hindi po nila sinabi na if mag-include ka po or hindi ng cover letter. Parang kailan po kailangan na naka-include yung cover letter at saka ano pong preferred naka-save yung CV or resume, if Word po ba or PDF? Yun lang po.
Okay. So, actually, if you already have a cover letter available, you can send it together with your resume or your CV. Okay lang yun. At least magkasama na siya. Siguro mas maigi lang siguro ipag-separate document niya. When it comes to the format, we really prefer PDF formats and not Word. Kasi sometimes it depends on the, ano ba tawag dito, dun sa application ng Word. Sometimes nagmo-move kasi yung formatting niya. And also for your security na hindi siya mababago ng kahit na sino. Send it on a PDF format instead.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Arlie. Our next question would be coming from Ellie. Ellie, please unmute your mic.
Rinig na po.
Elian.
Hey ma'am, good afternoon po. Magtatanong lang po about dun sa, kasi meron pong isang company na pinag-apply ko dati. Tapos meron po silang personality test na pinagawa sa akin. Parang dun po nila makikita yung tawag dito, yung strengths or weaknesses ko, and parang meron po silang tinatawag na accuracy na parang kung gaano ka po ka-consistent po dun sa mga sagot mo. So, ma'am, ang tanong ko lang po is, magagamit po ba namin yung mga test na yun sa future applications mo namin? Or as an HR po ba, nakakapag-depend po ba kayo dun sa ganung like personality test po?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, for that one, so you're lucky to have that no exam kasi not all companies provide personality exams. Actually, personality tests can change time after time. Like for example, you take it now, the results may change a year after. So it's really important na you take it nang siguro that the employer will give it to you during your application, and it's not recommended for you to use it for future references. Okay? When it comes to accuracy of the results naman, yes, sometimes recruiters are also basing into the results of those tests because kasi yung mga personality exams na actually pati yung mga IQ test, it costs a lot on the employer
Yes.
per use yun. So we really use that in identifying yung mga strengths and weaknesses of the candidate. Kasi yung mga exams na yun, validated siya. So if you're familiar sa mga tawag dito, statistics ganyan. So yung mga ganung exams it's validated. So yung ibig sabihin yung results na are also valid. So that's also being used. And additional lang siguro, when you're doing IQ tests sa mga companies, yung mga IQ tests are not really meant for you to finish. So, wag kayo masyadong mabother if nag-IQ test kayo or intelligence test just you were not able to finish the exam. Kasi you're not really expected to finish it. It's just going to measure how far you go dun sa exam. Ayun.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you.
That's a great tip, no? Kaya tataka din ako dati bakit hindi ko siya matapos. Hindi pala talaga siya
Ang hirap eh.
finish.
Mahaba masyado.
Sobrang frustrating. Anyway, may question si Thea Lutero. She asks, sabi niya, ano po, you can answer this or give us a hint. Sabi niya, ano po ang range ng salary for entry-level engineers sa Accenture? And number 2, for ECEs po, ano po yung usual opportunities for us in the company?
For the salary, I'm not allowed. Feeling ko alam ni Sir Josh kung magkano. So, ikaw na lang magsabi sa kanila mamaya. Yung wala na ako. Alam ni Sir Josh yan. Pero, well, siguro tip lang. Just look for a company who's offering, of course, siguro, magkano na ba yung basic ngayon? I think yung basic ngayon is 387 for provincial and around 400 plus for Metro Manila, no? So, based lang siguro sa mga nakita ko, katanggap-tanggap naman na yung 20K above na salary. But on the bracket, actually, from my previous company, medyo malaki sila magbigay. I think, ano naman yun, parang common knowledge for those who are seeking opportunities. Malaki magbigay for semiconductor companies. For Accenture, ang opportunities are really more on software engineering and software development. Yung salary nila is above market average din naman. But if you're really into that, na gusto mo is malaking salary talaga and good opportunities, go for electronics and semiconductor companies. Based on what I know, ha. Kasi for telco, I think telco are offering a little lower than other companies out there. Tama ba yung sinagot ko, sir? Tama ba sinabi ko yun?
Yes.
Malalaman na lang natin. Sure.
Si Sir Norman actually kanina, before Hugh, he gave us a figure na yung mga 6 figures salary employees daw nila only took them 8 to 9 years to make it.
So medyo maganda talaga bigay sa mga semiconductor electronics companies.
And to provincial rate pa yun, ha?
Yes,
province pa yun. Malaki talaga compared sa Manila, diba? With all its
malaki
traffic
talaga
and
magbigay.
pollution.
Yes, and also, syempre, apart from that, the additional benefits, like if you're living in the province, you have shuttle services, di ba, Sir Josh? So, really helpful. So, apart from the really good compensation benefits package, they have additional perks for you para hindi ka ma-stress sa work mo. Ayan.
Okay. Another question, I think, meron bang nag-raise ng hand kanina? Hindi ko napansin. Any other question, guys? May na-miss ata ako. Hindi ko napansin kanina. Guys, may question pa? Ito.
You're
Siguro,
welcome.
hmm, siguro agad would ask, ano yung, what could the students expect in terms of the environment or the workplace, sa ACN? So far as, well, kakastart mo pa lang naman and you still, well, don't perhaps fully get the environment versus a semicon company. But can you give us a little bit of insight as to what to expect in an ICT or software engineer development ASE, such as ACN, a Fortune 500 company? Tama nga ba?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What can we expect? What can the students expect when they enter ACN?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, actually kasi, you also have to be prepared emotionally if you're going to be hired sa sobrang laking corporation like ACN, no? I came from a semiconductor company na around siguro 9,000 employees globally or 3,000 here in the Philippines. And even if I'm already an experienced candidate, medyo na culture shock pa rin ako being into an organization. It's really huge. So kasi when you work in a huge corporation or a huge company, do not expect for the management to be always there or present kasi nga masyadong malaki. So ang good thing naman about that is that you'd be able to siguro parang dumiskarte by yourself or magkaroon ka ng sariling palo kasi not everything will be guided to you. And ang good thing din doon is that for engineers or for those on the tech, kasi for Accenture, we have tech and ops. So pag mga tech courses like engineering, they'll be hired under the technology tower. And then if you'll be hired at a project na okay yung may handle, maganda, sobrang ganda ng benefits na binibigay nila. Although, you also have to be flexible on the working hours. I think it's also common knowledge and I will not lie about it, no, na kapag sa Accenture medyo mahaba yung work hours talaga. Kasi it's required by the industry. Okay, kasi IT-BPO and consulting company, and that is also what is expected by your client. But ang good thing naman about that is that you're well compensated and that if you are required to work beyond your normal work hours, meron sila mga additional benefits na not only overtime. So sometimes binibigay sila na more than the overtime fee pa, that's really helpful at malaki rin yung binibigay nila na amount minsan.
Yeah, that's a good one, Agat. Thank you. Siguro another question. What can you say about the current culture of job hopping in most ICT companies? Siguro sa semicon companies din. Although alam naman natin may rule between sa gateway about that. But sa ICT, have you heard any feedback na dito medyo job hopping talaga, they only stay for a short while and then go on, go off? Can you give us a little bit of insight? Is that the new normal?
Well, actually, it's not about the industry ata eh. Based on studies and researches kasi, they mentioned that yung job hopping ng mga candidates right now is because of the generation ng mga bata. Like, medyo kasi diba, sinasabi mo millennials, medyo instantaneous. So once they feel that they're not recognized or that they're not receiving what they are deserve, what they deserve, medyo naghahanap sila ng something else, diba?
Yeah.
And when it comes to the industry naman, actually, IT and BPO companies or mga ICT companies have a higher attrition rate than semiconductor companies, but also a part of that is because most ICT companies are located in Manila. And semicon and electronics companies, since they are huge corporate companies kasi, diba, based on land mass, they're located in provinces. And if you're in the province, medyo mahirapan kang maglipat ng companies because there is not a lot of opportunities in the province compared to those in Manila na pwede ka magpalipat-lipat kahit katabing building mo lang. So, ayun.
Nice. So it's a generational thing pala.
Yes.
Any other questions, guys? I want to hear from you. Meron pa bang any intriguing questions? Or shall we say interesting questions that you would like to ask Agot? take this opportunity. It's not every day that you get to talk to an HR personnel. Anyone, guys? Oh, again. Okay. Krim, again, raised her hand. Sige, Krim, please proceed.
Curious lang po, if nasa interview po ba, kunyari bigla nagtanong po ako na kung magkano po yung assumed na sweldo ko if na-hire po ako, is it a bad thing po na magtanong or okay lang naman?
You mean mag-ask about the salary?
Opo, yun ang, kunyari po, may ina-applyan po, tapos inas ko po yung salary na matatanggap ko po. The end of the interview, parang gano'n po.
I think okay lang siya if you're almost on the latter part of the interview process. Pero I would suggest na instead of you guys asking the interviewer or the recruiter for the salary, try to research it online. Kasi sometimes, like for example, in Glassdoor, nandun yung mga salary minsan. So, try to maximize the use of the internet kasi some of the forums provide kung magkano yung exact salary ng mga companies right now. So, medyo helpful siya for fresh graduates seeking for a job. Kasi, of course, di ba, medyo, for others siguro sabihin, yes, medyo knock-off for the candidate to ask the salary. But in reality naman talaga, we really need to know how much we're being offered kasi sayang yung time din natin eh. So try to make use of those sites online to look for some confidential information we're looking for.
Thank you po ulit.
Thank you.
Can you, Agat, can you negotiate? Can you negotiate your salary at the first interview?
For fresh graduates, sir?
Yeah.
Most of the time for fresh graduates, siguro mga 95% of the time, it's not negotiable unless you're a really great candidate. Ganun. Like, sobrang ganun credentials mo, double degree ka, ganyan. So, pag mga ganun, and you really need, and you have the specific skills needed by the company, and that skill is not very much available in the market, yes, it can be negotiable.
We have a question here from Alan. He asks, natawagan na po ako noon ng company and was asked to rush requirements but it took 2 weeks po bago sila mag-reply ulit. Ano po yung tamang attitude sa ganito, sir?
Tamang attitude kapag medyo matagal mag-reply yung mga HR. Charot. Kasi sometimes, well, siguro a good HR or a good recruiter will really spend the time for you to respond to inquiries ng mga candidates, di ba? Kasi of course, parang kailangan din alagaan namin yung candidates kasi hindi lang naman kayo natutulungan whenever you get hired. Yung recruiters kasi may mga targets and metrics that they have to meet. So we also have the responsibility to respond to any inquiry that you have. When it comes to the timeline naman, yes, sometimes it's understandable na it will take around 2 weeks for you to get on board or for them to be able to assist you in submitting the requirements. But if in case yung talaga mahirap mag-reply yung recruiters ninyo, you can always send them a message. Politely lang naman, no? Send them a message politely through text siguro. If they're not responding through text, try to email them. And I think pag nag-email ka naman sa kanila, medyo na-alarm na sila and they really have to respond. Siguro last resort na yung pagtawag sa kanila.
All right, that's a good question. And a good answer as well. Melanie asks, okay, Melanie, please proceed.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. With regards po sa interview, kasi po nagkaroon po kami ng mock interview before and we had it by 2. So, although maliit naman po talaga yung chances na mangyari po na by 2's interview, but I would just like to ask kung ano po yung advice na pwedeng ibigay because to our surprise, kasi po nung interview, by 2's po kami. Tapos, syempre po, diba, individually po namin na parang we sell out yung resume po namin, skills namin. Pero nung dulo po, sabi po nung interviewer, dapat daw po parang may connection yung mga sagot po namin nung kasabay ko po na in-interview. So, pwede pong mahingi lang po ng mga advice with regards po kung sakali man pong mangyari yung gano'n na by 2's interview.
medyo mahirap yun, no? Actually, siguro on the interviewer's point of view din, it's not really recommended to do 2 interviews at a time. But if in case na ganun yung mangyari, um, it's like, paano ba to? Para siyang competition, but you don't have to show it na you're in the competition. So I guess yung sinasabi na kailangan merong connection is that you try not to overpower the candidate that you're with, pero siguro humbly again, try to sell yourself then. Of course, you cannot contradict on whatever is being said by your partner. Eh. So try to siguro compliment na lang din, and also try to think about personal experiences or personal answers that you can add up to whatever is being said by your partner.
Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I
Thank
think
you
it's
po.
only being done kapag medyo may time constraints kapag kulang sa time yung interviewer. Kaya mag-resort sila into panel interviews.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ito agad, this is a good question. Trisha
Thank you.
asks, kapag sinabi po ba ng HR na we will call you na lang, wag na po bang umasa to get hired?
Well, not all the time naman. Meron talagang times na kailangan nilang maghintay for the deliberation result before they give you the final verdict of the interviewer. Pero siguro para lang walang false hopes, if in case yung sinabi sa inyo ng HR, tapos parang mga after 1 or 2 weeks, wala pa rin feedback sa inyo, assume na lang na you were not able to pass the cut for that position. Yun yung safe answer, I think. Mm-mm.
That's a good answer. With the ECQ now, do you think mas magpo-proliferate yung use of video sharing, conference video call tools like Zoom, Skype, etc. for doing interviews? What do you think?
Yes. Actually, sir, talaga majority of the companies now are resorting into virtual assessments already. Kasi for some companies na medyo lucky, no, even if meron tayong ECQ, they are still able to do business as usual. So, kahit may lockdown, yung clients pa rin nila are still giving them projects to accomplish. And with that, since hindi sila pwede magpapunta sa mga recruitment center or they cannot do face-to-face assessments, they will resort to doing phone interviews, online assessments. Sometimes yung exam nasa online na rin siya. And yun nga, Zoom, Skype, MS Teams sometimes that's being used. Ayun.
All right. Can you give us some tips what to wear for face-to-face and online interviews?
Okay, parang every time naman when you're doing interview, try to dress up a little, di ba? Like siguro polo, ganyan. Even if you're doing a virtual assessment, I would still suggest for you to dress up for the interview, kahit na pang taas lang yun. So, naka-shorts, ganun. Kasi you're also looking into how well you are prepared for it, eh. For personal interviews naman, actually, merong mga companies na wouldn't encourage you to dress up for interviews. Like for example, sir, sa Maxim before, di ba? Kasi when candidates ask us, what should I wear for the interview? We tell them smart casual. You can go there na naka-t-shirt ka lang or naka-polo shirt ka lang. You don't have to be on long sleeves or coat. Kasi medyo iniiwasan din namin yung mas dressed up pa yung candidate sa interviewer. Kasi on those types of industries, it's not really that everyday. If you're an engineer, it's not everyday if you're wearing long sleeves, di ba? Kahit t-shirt ka lang everyday, okay lang eh. So, it also shows at yun naman, ang ayaw din nila. They don't want to have a front sa candidates na ganito kami, to medyo formal kami if it's not. Kasi we also want to set the expectations of the candidate. Now, in this industry, this is how we are. Ayun.
Alright, nice. So sa Maxim pala, medyo lax na pagdating sa interview.
Oo, sir. Okay lang actually kahit naka-t-shirt. Minsan nga pag sa mga schools, some candidates go for interviews ng naka-shorts lang and slippers. And we're
And
fine
you don't
with
mind.
that.
Maxim doesn't.
Yeah. Oo.
I see. Alright. Any other questions, guys? Baka meron pa kayo. Last one. Good questions. I'm actually enjoying this. Baka mapatagal tayo.
Ako din eh.
Last question. Okay. Sige. Any other questions, guys? May naisip pa ba kayo? Something related for interview? Alright, I think mukhang wala na. Okay, mukhang wala ng questions. Agot, thank you very much for your time. If there's any, for example, some of these students ay nasa-shy lang and would want to ask a question, okay lang ba if they can ask you or...
Yeah, so actually, if in case you have any other question after this webinar, you can send me an email at acreyes011@gmail.com or try to ping me on Messenger at Agot Campos Reyes. Friend ko naman si Sir Josh, so hanapin niyo na lang po ako doon.
Yeah, acreyes@001@gmail.com.
AC Reyes, yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Tama ba?
011 pala, sir, sorry. 011.
011. Okay.
Yep.
acreyes@gmail.com. Okay, well, thank you very much, Agot, for your time. We really do appreciate it. Si Agot pala is currently finishing her MBA. Thesis ka na ba writing, Agot?
Yes, sir. Makakasalubong niyo ako sa Lasal.
Oo, nasa Lasal lang siya if ever bumalik na yung campus natin. So, ang maganda yun kasi Lasalian din siya in a way because of her MBA degree with us. So, thank you very much, Agot, for your time. We really do appreciate you spending time with us despite your busy schedule and all. Guys, let us show some love kay Agot. Palakpakan natin si Agot. Kaya ba natin yan?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Alright.
Thank you po.
Salamat.
Maraming salamat po.
They will reach you if they have further questions. Salamat uli and thank you for taking our time. God bless.
Thank you and keep safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. God bless. See you soon.
See you.
Wait lang, Agot. Wait lang. May picture taking pala. Sorry.
Ay, okay.
May group photo pala.
Hindi ko mapanig.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, prepare. Teka, pakitanggal muna yung mga background natin. Baka mapagalitan tayo. Okay, yan. Masyado ako nag-enjoy sa Chloe background ko.
Bilang ka, sir, para prepared kami.
Okay, yan. I'll count to 3. Sige. Okay, guys. Ready? Show your best smile. Wait lang. MS Paint. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay. Wait lang. 3 page. Actually, we're 80 plus, I think, here. Tama nga ba? We're 88 here. So, medyo 3 pages lang to. Next page. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay. Last page. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for participating. I hope you learned something. I'm sure you did from Agot's talk this morning or this afternoon. Again, thank you, Agot, and we'll see you around. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you po.
Bye-bye.